I'm Lance Yelvington of CyberCountry. At the crossroads of country and bluegrass, you're probably going to find a place not unlike Mayberry. In this CyberCountry Minute, Terry Eldredge and Terry Smith of the Grascals also tell us why Mayberry sounded like a pretty good theme for their next Grascals CD.
I'm Terry Smith. I play bass and sing with the Grascals.
And I'm Terry Eldredge, and I play guitar and sing with the Grascals.
So Terry, let me ask you...
the two teams. Which one now?
When you guys were putting together the idea for an album, and an idea, it usually takes a long time to generate. How long did it take you guys to come up with Mayberry as a theme?
Well, we were actually asked to do that. It was like a project that we were approached on. And we, of course, jumped at it because we're such big fans of the Andy Griffith show, and it came real easy. You know, we just loved the show and loved the music that was on there.
So now putting stories with songs with regard to Mayberry, how tough was that? I mean, applying that to everyday life?
Not really tough, because like Smitty said, we've been fans, all of us, the whole band, have watched it our whole lives growing up. So we knew the songs and stuff and everything. We just went through and kind of picked 6 or 7 different songs that we thought that were kind of stood out and fit the song, like a gospel song, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms, and of course Dooley, because that's probably like the best known song from it. So it wasn't too hard to pick out the songs. It was just, and like he said, we were asked to do it, so we just jumped on it. We were like glad to do it. We all love Andy Griffith. All God's children love Andy Griffith.
They don't, they should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the person that asked you to do this, now who was it that asked you to do this? I'm just asking because I didn't get the background on that necessarily. Who asked you guys to
It was
put
actually Phil
together?
Connolly.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it actually come from Phil. And the project he was working on didn't come about, and we own the master, so we decided to try to do some stuff with it ourselves.
Yeah. We had done a thing before with him, he's got a food company called Mayberry's Finest.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted a jingle for that, and we wrote the jingle for it. So that's kind of how we got started with Phil and our combining together with him. And then he came up with this idea, and he approached us, and we were like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to Andy, told Andy about it, because anything that has to do with the show, Andy still has sailed, even 51 years later.
Yeah.
So, but Andy, from what we understand, Andy said, yeah, I'd love it, love the idea, and I'd love for the Grascals to do it.
Well, the cool thing about the stuff that I've heard and the usual songs that I hear from the Grascals is everything that you guys do is easy to relate to, especially if you come from kind of a country background. You know, you've got that sort of sensibility. And I kind of like that. Do you think they feel the same way about how it fits into the rest of your music genre?
It's a natural fit. I mean, we're pretty much what you see. I mean, we're country boys, and we love that show, and we love traditional country music and bluegrass, and we're real. It's not a put on. So
yeah, and a lot of the songs we sang, and even songs off that show, we live day to day. You know, like he says, we're realists. We're country boys.
Bet you couldn't tell that.
Not at all. It was a surprise. Now, what's your favorite character on Andy Griffith?
Oldest.
Why is that? Just
yeah, no, I mean, there's so many. That's one of the best things about that show, is they went off the humor of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't one-liners, you know, like nowadays, which is not taken away from the TV shows today. They still put out some good shows, but what was so great about that show, they didn't do one-liners. You know, like they go da-da-da-da, da-da-da, and the audience goes ha-ha-ha-ha and laughs and that. You know, all the comedy off that show was built off of each character on that show. So that's a good question that you ask about which was your favorite character. Which, I mean, all of them, but I'll have to say Andy.
Mm.
I mean...
Barney, I like Barney a lot, but I love Floyd. I mean, Floyd, before he had his stroke, I mean, he was still funny afterwards, but just his energy and the way he reacted to things, I just love Floyd's character.
Yeah.
Howard McNair.
Yeah.
He was great.
Well, the cool thing about Mayberry, it seems to me, was a lot of times the story would tell itself if they gave the characters a chance to play out what they are. Exactly. And that's usually the way country works, do you think?
Yeah, I guess so, Rick. I don't know, that's
kind of plays out.
artsy question. When you get into them, I'm kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, I kind of killed the whole interview there, didn't I?
No, I didn't do that.
But yes, a natural. Natural. What comes natural? It's a natural thing. So it's like a country song.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello, I'm Terry.
And I'm Terry from the Grascals. That's right. And we're trying to get you to come out and get our new album, Dance Till Your Stockings Are Hot and Ravelin.
There we go.
A tribute to the 50th anniversary of the Andy Griffith Show. And you need to go out and get it. You can get it at all your local stores. You can get it online from our website, grascals.com.
And hopefully it won't make you cry.
That's right. Because that's one thing I hate is crying.